On set, I find it exciting and it's full of possibilities. And then you have moments where you're doing something with the actors and you're creating kind of a moment of truth that has never existed in history before. Hi, I'm David Caesar and I'm one of the directors on Les Norton. There were four: Jocelyn Moorhouse, myself, Fadia Abboud and Morgan O'Neill. Les Norton is a crime caper comedy based on a series of crime books that were written from the mid-80s. All four directors, we all sat around for a few days and we all brought style ideas, and the DOP was part of that process as well. It's not just the visual stuff, it's about tone of performance and acting as well. And so we tried to sort of give ourselves a set of rules, a set of boundaries that we could sort of play within. You can be quite creative, bouncing off boundaries, whereas if you can sort of go in any direction, it's hard to give something sort of a thematic style. The thing about any first series of a show, often you are trying different things out, and some directors think they're doing something that none of the other directors have done, but they think it's within the style, and then that becomes a thing that is used a lot, and somebody might try something that doesn't get used again. So it's a process of sort of pushing and pulling until it actually starts to discover what it is.
I'm Les Norton.
And you like hurting blokes, do you, Les Norton?
It's members only, and unfortunately these blokes weren't members. Rules are rules.
And you're the new enforcer, are you?
Well, I didn't throw the first punch, if that's what you're asking, but I did throw the last. Last few, come to think of it.
We had a showrunner, Morgan, and the good thing I've found about having a showrunner on set is often details, because usually you're going so fast that you're going, okay, are we telling the story? Do I believe the characters' performances? Do I think those shots are going to edit together to tell the story? They're your priorities. Having a showrunner on set, they're thinking about all these sort of subtle nuances, and often they can be thinking about episodes down the line that you haven't even read. In the right circumstances, I think that new process, the showrunner model, I think it's additive, and I think it can create more subtle layers in the finished product, which I think is really useful for the actual production.
Welcome to Sydney's best kept secret.
Geez, I'm pretty sure these joints are illegal up in Queensland.
Pretty sure they're illegal down here too, Les.
The wardrobe and the locations, it's always hard to try and find stuff that is right, because you want to try and find the right balance of authenticity in that. One of the things that was in the books was that there was a lot of sort of casual racism and sexism. We wanted to sort of have elements of that, but then comment on that as well. I think we've taken some elements that were quite stereotypical and predictable in the books and really subverted them by just playing with gender and race in some of those characters. And I think that then contrasts with the stereotypes, and you go, oh, I'm seeing that stereotype in a very different way. And I think being able to look at ourselves as a culture is really important. I think the point of having a film and TV industry in Australia is to say, who are we? What makes us Australians? What is it about us that's interesting? In its own way, Les Norton does that by sort of saying, hey, this is something you think you know, and we're going to subvert it.
Chuck that on. Come on, chop, chop. Okay. What?
People can watch Live to Air Les Norton on ABC TV. I suspect most people will end up watching it on their subscription platform, iview. The thing I like about it is the way it sort of tries to create a sense of place, and it's really interested in what are Australian stereotypes and making fun of them, but also it's trying to go, well, actually that part of the Australian character is kind of good to celebrate. The way we thought about it when we were talking with Les as a character was that he's only judges people on are they a wanker or not a wanker. And I think judging people on that basis, not on their sexuality or race or gender or whatever, is a really positive thing.